What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga breakdown review, where today we're going to be reviewing a fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is a fan-made manga set within its own timeline outside of the main canon of Akira Toriyama and Toei Animation, involving both characters from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, as the overall concept of Dragon Ball Multiverse involves universes from all timelines and dimensions to gather together and battle in one tournament in order to determine which one of the many participating universes competing in this tournament will be the first to obtain the prize of the Dragon Balls for their own personal usage, as for many years now I've been reviewing and introducing all kinds of Dragon Ball fan mangas to the world created by the community for the community. So if you guys are interested in seeing and reading up on incredible stories and concepts such as Dragon Ball AF, Dragon Ball Legendary, Dragon Ball New Age, Dragon Ball X, and many others, then feel free to check out the Dragon Ball fan manga playlist in the description box for more videos such as this, as right now we are going to be diving into a brand new manga chapter. As before we begin, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to be the first to know when a new video is posted onto this channel, as we kick off Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 35, with Bra having to wonder where her father went, as 2 hours earlier Vegito went completely missing. Now at this point, in case you guys have not seen the previous manga chapters, Vegito was in fact going up against a sorcerer, and because of the sorcerer we see how Vegito ends up disappearing, as Bra begins to wonder and asking, I wonder what kind of power he, and then suddenly out of nowhere Vegito disappears. So as quickly as Bra is begging the question as to how strong this individual is, her father just ends up disappearing. As we look on over, as Oob goes on to state, I don't understand, and Trunks replies by saying he just took off because nobody seems to understand what happened to Vegito. He just suddenly disappeared, as one of the Namekians goes on to tell the tournament holders XXI is the one who did it. He mumbled something, as one of the tournament holders goes on to state Vegito has vanished completely. He's untraceable, as they make the announcement and saying, it's been 30 seconds, XXI, are you still conscious? As he replies by saying, of course, as the tournament holder reveals and saying, so you've won, and everyone is shocked. We see how Majin Buu is shocked, Cell is shocked, Goku's shocked. Everyone seems to be shocked because this individual remains to be so calm, but nobody is able to figure out what exactly happened to Vegito. As we look on over, Gohan flies on down and asking, so what did you do to your opponent? As Majin Buu walks on over and saying, don't worry friends, I understood the whole thing. As XXI replies by saying the organizers will use the Dragon Balls to return him at the end. Now, step aside please. As Majin Buu replies by saying, I sensed a dimension opening. Vegito was merely confined there. He'll have no trouble getting back, so let's wait for him. And Gohan's like, stay out of this. As Majin Buu replies by saying, hey, I'm on your side, especially after what he had done before. You can't really trust Majin Buu. As the tournament holders make the announcement and stating, after the strange victory, here is number 18 of Universe 14 against Arale of Universe 2. As Majin Buu looks on over at Bra and saying, then we'll ask for a rematch. That move wasn't really fair, and I'm sure you agree, as Bra says, damn right. But then over out on the other side of the arena, we see how Cell goes on to state, I'm relieved, and yet my Saiyan nature craves to be challenged. I feel like a coward. It's unbearable because it looks like Cell did want to fight Vegito, but for some reason he's happy that he's gone, but at the same time he's looking for that challenge. As we look back on Trunks and Goten, they're celebrating and Goku goes on to state, so then Vegito is eliminated? That gives us a chance to win, but I'm a little disappointed. So it looks like everyone is disappointed because after looking at how strong Vegito was against Broly and coming so far in this tournament, everybody seemingly enough, including Goku, Cell, and Majin Buu, wanted to fight him, but since he's gone, a lot of people are disappointed. But then as we continue, Arale is next up to fight against Android 18, as we see her preparing, but then we look on over at Yamcha as he's talking to an older Krillin and saying, you'd help her rediscover her humanity, you'd refuse to kill her, and she would kiss you on your bald head. And Krillin's like, nonsense, as Yamcha says, and stop making fun of me, I'm sure you would fall for her too. Basically having small talk as Yamcha is trying to convince Krillin in allowing 18 to rediscover her humanity and trying to basically get her to side with him in exchange for a kiss on Krillin's bald head. But speaking of bald people, Tien looks on over as he's watching 18 versus Arale and stating, this fight may be a revelation to her. We are in the presence of two polar opposites, a woman who became a robot, who lost her humanity and became very bitter, against an innocent child and happy robot girl who seems very human. The polar polar opposite of one another, as 18 gets ready and saying, "Come on, kid, and I'll wipe that stupid smile right off your face." As poor little Arale runs on in, 18 kicks Arale so hard in the face, she goes off flying, and I really do enjoy this because they're making the insinuation that it's basically machine versus machine, robot versus robot. One robot is very bitter, while the other robot is very happy. So I really do enjoy this as 18 kicked Arale down into the ground. Arale's like, yo, 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 she's on the ground, she doesn't know what's happening, but 18 is very ruthless. As she looks on down, Arale kips back up, and 18 says, "Look, it's already over. You might as well give up." But then Arale, in an amazing feat of speed, we see how she actually grabs the stage that she is on, and she throws it at Android 18. And Android 18 is legit smack right in the middle. Now 18 looks on over, she's like, "What?" And she gets hit so hard that these massive spherical objects that are hovering up in the sky come crashing into one another, which I really do enjoy because, again, Arale, although she's a gag character, she was never portrayed to be taken serious at all, but she is a gag manga character, so she has incredible feats, which explains why she's so strong. As we look on down, Super Boo goes on to state, "Universe 2 is far too different from the rest. Where did it come from? It's incredible. She can actually distort reality. It's even stronger than my own magic. And she's doing it unconsciously. Incredible." As Arale lands on the floor, she looks on over at 18 and saying, "Hey, you fell out of the ring. You lose, miss." And 18's like, "You idiot. You're offering too. I'll rip your head off." And that's when Arale, weirdly enough, grabs her own head and she rips it off and saying, "Like this?" And 18 falls onto the ground. And as she falls down, Arale looks at 18 and saying, "You should be able to do it too." And 18's like, "Are you crazy? This time I am ending it." And she goes in for the kill. She punches Arale directly in the chest, and Arale's like, "You don't want to play anymore?" And 18 looks at her own hand and saying, "I'm being overwhelmed by this midget. Was that guy right? My energy isn't infinite. Am I depleting?" And that's when Arale hands over her little milk carton and saying, "Hey, you lack energy, so I have that problem too. But it's time for me to recharge," as she begins to drink, and then the bottle itself goes on to state it's empty. And as she's drinking, we see how 18 casually just taps the bottle, and Arale goes falling back. And then from there, we get to see how the announcers go on to make the claim and saying, if Arale doesn't move for 30 seconds, 18 wins. As of course, Piccolo is watching as he goes on to make the claim and saying she lost due to bad luck. But what incredible powers! She could legitimately threaten much stronger opponents. If she lived in our world, she could have crushed Cell, or even myself back when. And Goku's like, "Actually, she does live in our universe. I met her a long time ago." And Piccolo's like, "Wait, what?" As Goku looks on over at Goten and saying, "Hey kids, are you ready for your fight?" And Goten's like, "Huh? It's our turn?" But Trunks is hitting on girls in the audience. And we see Trunks, he's talking to chicks, he's trying to pick them up, which is typical Trunks and Goten at that age, because we know that as they mature, they don't really mature. They just end up talking to girls and doing their own thing. They're completely opposite to their fathers. But the tournament holders go on to make the claim and saying, "And now Gotenks of Universe 18 against Neko Majin of Universe 2. So finally we get to see how Gotenks fuses and saying, "Ta-da!" They land in the ring and they're pretending that they're the actual audience and saying, "Oh, look, it's Super Gotenks, oh my, haha." And then he transforms into a Super Saiyan as he awaits for Neko Majin. But that's when Gotenks goes on to make the claim and saying, "Even 100 G in the ring is too weak for the great Gotenks." And Gohan's like, "Oh my god, there's no direct relationship between strength and gravity, Jesus," which Bra rebuttals in saying he means that his big head is too heavy, basically making the claim that Gotenks does have a big ego, which he actually kind of does. But that's neither here or there. We see how Bra looks on over at the real Goten and Trunks and saying, "So, now do you see how dumb you two look when you fuse?" And Trunks is like, "I think he's okay." And the Gotenks in the ring is like, "Haha, such class. I trained by watching DVDs of Mr. Satan." And he looks on over and Neko Majin is sleeping, and Gotenks is pissed. He's saying, "Hey, the fight has started, wake up." As Neko Majin wakes up and saying, "Oh man, you're so boring that I started to meditate." And Gotenks is like, "You weren't meditating at all, suffer my wrath," as he punches Neko Majin in the face, and Neko Majin goes flying up as Gotenks retaliates by flying up with him and then punching him back down into the ground. But as soon as Neko Majin lands, he gets up and saying, "You're very strong. I know how to win though. I'm gonna use fusion too." And Gotenks is like, "What?" And we see how Neko Majin is like, "Phew." And Gotenks is like, "But wait, I mean, you're fusing with a fly? Like, what are you doing?" Which as Neko Majin follows by saying, "Jean, ha! And then he finally fuses, but Gotenks is like, what is happening? Who's he fusing with? And then once the actual light disappears, we see how Neko Majin is basically torn in half, and Gotenks is like, what in the hell is going on? You'll taste my... Oh no, wait a minute, I'm right-handed. I can't fire my Neko Hameha. Damn it. And that's when all of a sudden we see him basically revert back to normal and saying, whew, oh, okay, so much for the fusion. And Gotenks is like, all that for nothing. My turn now. And that's when Gotenks begins to unleash the Super Ghost Kamikazes, as he looks on over and saying, Super Ghost Kamikaze Deadly Attack. Attack! And then that's when we get to see the ghosts go straight for Neko Majin, but Neko Majin is getting irritated because these little ghosts are basically flying around him, but Neko Majin, being the cat that he is, we see him in pursuit of the ghosts, and that's when he grabs one of them and bites into him, but not knowing that it's an actual explosion, we see him just erupt as the other Super Ghost Kamikazes go in, and there's explosions happening left and right, but then, as Gotenks is celebrating, he's not noticing that his Super Ghost Kamikazes look a tad bit different, and that's when they hover behind Gotenks and saying, well done buddy, yeah, you win, you're the man, yeah. And that's when Gotenks opens his eyes and saying, you are, and that's when one of them says, yeah, we're the super suicidal god of the wind magical cat ghosts. And Gotenks is like, and you didn't explode? And that's when one of them goes, oh, oops, we forgot. And then boom, as soon as he touches Gotenks, everyone starts exploding, and everyone at the actual arena is running around, including Bra, and yelling at Goten and Trunks and saying, you stupid losers. And Goten and Trunks are like, that's not us. I mean, that's just our damn identical. It's not even us. As we look on back in the ring, Gotenks is just lying in the dirt, and we see how Neko Majin's like, haha, it's the end of you. As we look on down, we see how people in the arena are making bets, putting 10,000 on Neko Majin, 20,000 against Gotenks, and Neko Majin's like, wow, it's done. Did everyone bet? Then I give up. And it was a total scam. Neko Majin, although he had Gotenks beat, he gave up, and one of the actual people in the ring is like, wow, that's a total scam, as the ring holders go on to state victory of Gotenks for Universe 18, and that's when Gotenks looks on over and he's like, I'm invincible. And Jocko the Galactic Patrolman's like, since we have lost, maybe it's time to go home. As we see how Universe 2 basically ends up leaving the arena, knowing the fact that their universe basically got scammed, but by the end of it, they still had fun participating. Although they knew that they couldn't win, they ended up going back to their universe, as Universe 2 has been eliminated from the Multiverse tournament. Which by the end of this manga chapter, I really did enjoy the interaction between Arale and Android 18, because it just seemingly enough makes sense to have a machine and a cyber-enhanced robot and artificial human make contact with each other, even though Arale isn't really supposed to be someone to take very serious. I did enjoy that brief little interaction, but the whole Gotenks and Neko Majin thing didn't really fit with me, because I was more interested in where Vegito was and when he's going to come back. And again, if you guys have missed out the previous manga chapters on this video, you guys can simply go on ahead and click the description box and find all the previous manga chapters to this to gain a better understanding as to what's to come in the future, because for me, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Vegito, and I really do hope to see more from that. But I think the whole interaction with Gotenks to me was a little bit bland, but I really did enjoy the action between Arale and 18, even though it was brief. So by the end of it, guys, I would like to get your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you guys feel about this particular manga chapter? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys dislike it? Let me know your feedback down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching once more. If you guys are new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball, don't forget to punch that subscribe button, enable all notifications to always stay in the loop whenever a brand new video is uploaded. Slap a like down below, tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the next Dragon Ball Multiverse fan manga chapter review. Take it easy, everybody. Cue that legendary outro, bitch.